Uncertain things happens in our life. Most of the time we ignore, but sometimes it leaves a scar in our memory. My name is Sam and welcome to my channel. Today I'm about to share a real paranormal experience of mine which I have faced 10 years back from now, back in 2014. So it happened back in 2014 after my dad's passed away in 2013. If you guys are following my vlog series, you'll know that on the vlog 3 video, you guys can check out if you haven't, and you'll know the story of my life. So after my father's death, I had to came back to Agartala and live with my mom for next 5 or 6 months until things got settled down here. During that time, I got a phone call and I hear one of my friend whom I met in Delhi, she died in a tragic car accident. Someone I just met few months back from that time, she died all of a sudden just on a tragic car accident. And that news made me devastated and left me wonder how come someone around my age who was fit and fine but now has lost her life. I was in my early 20s, young blood, hot blood, and always used to watch haunted stuffs, series and like movies, horror movies and all those stuff. And those things used to fascinate me a lot, to contact with the spirit, to visit any haunted places, to witness paranormal activities. And coincidentally, when I heard that news, that day I was high on liquor and stupid enough to call her spirit. After getting a couple of drinks, I started calling her spirit in intention to contact her, telling her if you wish to speak to someone, you can use me as a channel from a quiet and a dark place which was next to my mom's house. But nothing happened on that night. After a couple of days later, one night when I was about to fall in sleep, back then I used to put on my earplugs and listen to music till I fall asleep. And that night when I was about to sleep and my eyes were drowsy, I felt something was pulling my earplug. I thought it might be me or I don't know. I noticed but I ignored. I tried to fall asleep. It was around 2:30 in the morning. All of a sudden I felt my bed started shaking. First I thought it might be an earthquake, so I called out my mom and I went to her room. I banged her door and I said there might be a chances that we're having an earthquake. She said no, there is no earthquake. She didn't felt anything. I thought maybe it might be a nightmare, maybe I was overthinking, maybe, it could be my superstitions. I went back to my bed and there was nothing but the moment I was about to fall asleep and my bed started shaking again for the second time. And this time I was sure it's not an earthquake, only one certain part of my bed is shaking. This time I was scared. I called out my mom, I went back to her room. I banged her door. I said, please come to my room. There is something which I don't have any answer for. She came, she checked. By the time it was stopped. And I told her what happened exactly. And she said she was scared because she was also sleeping, I called her, I woke her up in the middle of her sleep and told her this thing and she was scared. Back in 2013, I started knowing Jesus Christ, but in a Catholic form. So I used to go to a church called Sacred Heart Cathedral in Delhi. From there, I collected some holy water, which I kept it with me, and a cross which I had purchased from the church. I put that cross on top of my door. I took the holy water out and I sprinkled it all over my room to cleansify the room, Back then, I used to believe in those stuffs like the way they show it in the movies or series. So I did it exactly like the way they do it. And that night I couldn't sleep at all. Next night arrived. I put on my earplugs again, like I always do. Back then, every night I used to listen to Pink Floyd, same old song echoes, and I used to go to sleep. So I went back to my bed, I put on my earplugs. Again, when I was almost about to sleep, same part of my bed started shaking. And this time I was so fucking scared. Again, I called out my mom and I told her this is not some kind of joke. This is not some kind of superstitions that I'm having or any kind of misunderstanding. I can feel it. I can feel the shake exactly right here on the left side of my bed, nowhere else. And it's not an earthquake, it's something real, and I can only feel it. And she was scared, I was scared, nothing to do, because one day back we already did the holy water cleansing and all the stuff, but this time we have nothing else to do. So as much as I remember, I think I haven't slept that whole night. Next day, my mom had an idea. Back then we used to know one black magician lady, and she used to help people to deal with supernatural or paranormal stuff through her black magic. So we contacted her. She came to our place. She did nothing. She just put some spell on my head, and there's no such thing happens like the way they show it in the horror movies or in any paranormal shows. So after she did her cleansing on me, she put some spell on me, black magic spell, which I don't allow in this period of my life because I'm a true believer. But back then I was lost. I was just knowing Christ in a different form. My mom already told her what I have done. When I was drunk, I called someone's spirit and all. She already knew the story before she came because my mom already told her on phone. So she put her spell on me. She said I tried to contact my friend's spirit, but instead of her spirit, some evil spirit started chasing me. And when I heard the news, and I was scared. I was scared what I have done. Why have I done? I was scared why I even watched this kind of series, movies. I thought I might be a hero or something, to call someone's spirit, to talk to that person's spirit and know what happens after death and all those stuff, and if that person has to say something or not. But what have I done is I invited a spirit which I don't even want to deal with. That was the bizarrest part that I have done. So we had no solution. She gave me one taviz. I don't know what taviz called in English. I'll put a photo of it somewhere over there. So she gave me a taviz. She told me to tie it around with your neck with one black strings. So I did it exactly like the way she told me to. So I used to wear it every time, anywhere I go, even while I'm sleeping. I never used to take it away from me. So months passed by, nothing stopped. Still, in the middle of the night, it used to wake me up and used to shake my bed on the left side of my bed, nowhere else but the left side of my bed. This is the same bed where I'm sitting and making this video. And it's the same bed which used to shake in the middle of the night 10 years back from now. But after wearing that taviz, it helped me not to get scared with this thing. And I was kind of used to it. So what will happen? Nothing. It'll just shake my bed and I'll be like, okay, fine. And I'll not sleep on that moment, but the moment it will be stopped, I'll go to bed again. And I was kind of used to it. It'll just shake. I'll not sleep. I'll sleep on the daylight. That's what I used to think. And I only used to sleep on the daylight. And that made me insomniac. Few months passed away. Now I had to move back to Delhi so that I can start my life again. I went back to Delhi in May. And it's been already 3 months since it's bothering me. I went to Delhi. I thought maybe something was wrong in this place, and when I'll be in Delhi, nothing will be following me back then. But the moment I went to Delhi, but it kept following me to Delhi as well. Back then in Delhi, I had no bed. I used to sleep on a floor with a mattress. And again it started shaking the left side of my mattress. And this time I cannot shout and scream and share this to anyone because I was alone in a studio apartment. I had my taviz on my neck, and I had my same remedy which I was using for last couple of months, that not to sleep on the night but on a daylight. So I followed that same thing. Every single night I used to wait to the night to pass by, and when the morning sun will come, I used to go to sleep. One day, it was almost a morning. I was trying to get my sleep. I can see it from my window, the sunlight is coming out. I was about to fall asleep and I turned from left to right. I saw a shadow appeared in a black, and I saw someone just laying beside me. It got me so scared, and I had no options, no help. There was nothing to do. I was so scared, and somehow I consoled myself that it might be my illusion, it might be my fear. I may be overthinking. I may have seen something which came out of my imagination. That's what I have thought, and I ignored what was in my reality. Days goes by, nothing came to help. Then one day I came to know about the real Jesus Christ. How? I'll share this story in any other video where I'll only talk about Jesus. Days went along and there was no help. All I can wait till the sunlight to come to get myself some rest. Bed shaking didn't stop and dark shadow appeared again as I was about to sleep, and this time I was sure about it and I clearly saw it was lying and staring at me from 2 to 3 feet away from my mattress on the floor. I couldn't do anything. I stopped looking at that side. I was scared. I even stopped changing positions in between sleep. I only used to sleep by the wall and don't used to look back no matter what, even if it's in a daylight now. Night goes on and on. Just to spend time, I started watching movies or any series just to get myself occupied. I was scared. I had no help. I had to wait till the full sunlight appeared, till I hear people's noise from outside. I was lost. In the meantime, one day all of a sudden I met one pastor who told me to read the Gospel, the Mark, Matthew, Luke, John. Just read 4 of them, you'll came to know the truth. I'll share about this experience in any other video where I'll completely speak about my faith in Jesus Christ and how I came to know about Jesus Christ. But that was the period back in 2014, May to June. That's when I actually came to know about the real Jesus Christ. So I started knowing about Christ. Meanwhile, I had a friend back then. With him, I finally shared about the things which was going on in my life. He told me the things which happens in his place, which was even more bizarre than my case. He was a guitar player just like me. Back in June, he had a show. He invited me to play the bass guitar in his band. So without any delay, I rushed myself to visit Jamshedpur for the first time of my life. I'm not going to share anyone's name or any specific details. I had a long flight from Delhi to Ranchi, and when I arrived in Ranchi, again I had to take a bus to reach Jamshedpur, which took me around like 3 hours. So I went to Jamshedpur, first time in my life. I was so happy to see a new place. When I reached his place, he and his friends welcomed me with open heart, and I went to his place. The place which he had mentioned earlier, the place where he faced a lot of paranormal activities. He promised me once I live there, I'll feel paranormal things. I was excited. According to my early experience, I have learned nothing, but I had only doubt. Maybe it's me, maybe it's my mind which is playing trick, thinking that my bed is shaking, thinking maybe I'm seeing shadows and all those stuff. Maybe just my mind, maybe it's nothing at all. But this place surely going to answer me some of my questions which I had. It was big 2 BHK apartment in Jamshedpur, and it has a big hallway, and there were 2 rooms and a kitchen and a bathroom. In one room his mom used to live, and in another room where he used to live. I entered his apartment and I went to his room, kept my luggage, went for a quick fresh up, and after freshing up, me and my friend and his hometown buddies, we went to have a couple of drinks. After having a couple of drinks, we came back to his apartment, and rest of his buddies went back to their place, but only one of his friends stayed the night with us. So there were 3 people in a room, and in the next room his mom was there. And that night I asked him again, like, are you sure these things happens in your place? So far I haven't seen anything or felt anything. He and his friend started laughing at my word. He said, don't worry, you just came, just settle down, stay the night, you'll see something for sure. Most of the things happen in this room only. I was also like thinking maybe they're playing around with me, maybe they're having fun with me. And that day I was really tired of my long journey, and I was also high on spirits. When I went to the bed, I immediately slept away. Next morning, there was nothing at all. My friend went for his job, and his friend, the one who stayed the night with us, he was there. He said, like, let's come with me, I'll show you the city around. You will see some of the places, and later we'll go to the rehearsal for the show. At night after the rehearsals, when we went back to his place, I heard some noises of something dropping on the floor. But first I didn't notice anything. When it started happening in the night time, my friend said, "Look, can you hear that sound which is coming? It's like some kind of drop sound is happening from the other room, from the hall room." I said, yeah, something dropped. He said, "Now it has started." I asked what started. "The things which I have mentioned before you came." He said, "There were noises of falling things on the ground, but when we look for it, there was nothing to be found." I was like, maybe it is coming from downstairs or upstairs. He said, "No, only from this room, this sound is coming all the time." Few days passes by. I ignored, but the sound of something falling on the floor now started more often than before. And little by little, it started increasing more. Now we can see some shadows which was passing by from around us. And we can clearly, both of us can clearly see something is passing by. And as days pass by, we can really feel that somebody else is listening to our conversation, hearing our conversation, trying to grab our attention. We can always feel someone's presence is in that room, is in that apartment. Like something is there who wants our attention, no matter if it's a day or night. He told me that these things happens always. Like, it just ignore. You can see that somebody wants our attention. You just can feel it. You can do nothing about it. Just ignore. So I did exactly like the way he said. After the show, one day in the noon, my friend was in his office and his mom was in the next room. We had 3 guitars lying on the wall. He had 2 of his guitar, one is acoustic and electric guitar, and in the middle there was my bass guitar, which was lying on the wall. That noon I was feeling sleepy, so I went to take a nap. While having my nap, I had a terrible nightmare. Something gigantic was crushing me under his feet and making me suffocated. I was screaming, "Jesus is my Lord, please save me, Jesus is my Lord, please save me." And all of a sudden, I woke up from my dream. I woke up from my nightmare. I was taking heavy breaths. And I was like, oh, relieved, it's just a dream, it's just a nightmare. And the very next moment, and that wasn't a nightmare, suddenly I heard a noise of something dropping off from the right side of his bed. And that was nothing but my bass guitar. Why only my guitar fell on the ground? I felt like that thing doesn't want me to stay there. This time it wasn't anything which we cannot see. There was 3 guitars I have mentioned earlier. 2 of them used to belong to that guy, that friend of mine, and one was mine, a bass guitar. Bass guitar was in the middle and 2 of his guitars were on the left and the right side of the bass guitar. But nothing fell off on the floor. But only the bass guitar which I was using for that show, only that guitar fell off on the ground the moment when I woke up from that nightmare. And it cannot be a coincidence. The window was closed and there was no wind. Now I am sure there is something, it doesn't matter if it's day or night, something paranormal. And something was getting offended because of me. Because I was talking about Jesus and I came with a Bible. Even now in my room, my Bible is always next to me. And wherever I go, I always keep my Bible with me. And in that room, I brought a Bible. Not just one Bible, but 2. One is mine, another one that I bought for my friend. And that thing doesn't want my presence in that room. Later that day, when my friend came back from his office, I told him what happened to me. And he was shocked. That night, nothing happened. Few more days went by. I exactly didn't remember which date. One night, I was sleeping. Again, I had a nightmare. I saw something big in black entered the room, came nearby the bed, and touched my left leg. I immediately woke up. I started saying, bro. I used to call him bro. Bro, woke up. I had a terrible nightmare. Bro, woke up. He woke up. I said, what? And he woke up and said, what happened? I said, I just saw something on my dream. I had a nightmare that something entered this room and touched my leg. Something black. I cannot see that thing's face. Something black like shadow just came inside and touched my feet. He said, yeah, this thing happens. I told you you'll see, you'll face things. Now you believe? I said, yeah, I do believe. He said, don't worry, just ignore, just go to sleep. I said, yeah, fine, let's go to sleep. Let's not talk about it right now. I went back to sleep and I was almost fell into sleep. After Delhi and Agartala, now his bed started shaking. On the same side where I was sleeping. I woke my friend up again. Look, bro, look. I told you the things. I told you that my bed shakes, right? He said, yeah, I remember. It started shaking again. I took his hand and placed it onto that part of that bed which was shaken. He himself felt that shake. Both of us were dead scared. We don't know what to do. And then, when things were normal, when the bed stopped shaking, we went to sleep. And if you guys wanted to know how it stopped, when it stopped, and what happened next, do let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this true story, like the video and subscribe to my channel. Put the bell icon on so that you don't miss any notification, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.